I mean, this is probably one of the more stunning stories that you're going to hear out of the Trump administration, Chris. But my colleague Jeff Zeleny has learned that when you walk in the White House, you go into the Grand Foyer, and they normally have the two portraits of the most recent presidents hanging up. Right now, that's Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, because Barack Obama's portrait has not been officially unveiled yet. And we have learned that in the last week, since last Wednesday, the Trump White House has had those portraits moved, and they are no longer there in the Grand Foyer. And instead, they've been moved to the old family dining room, which, if you're not familiar with how the White House is laid out, that's a room that visitors to the White House do not often go to. Right now, they're storing old furniture and tablecloths inside of it, and that is where they have put the portraits of Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. And instead, they've replaced the ones in the foyer with a portrait of William McKinley and Teddy Roosevelt, who, of course, were president over a century ago. And those are the ones hanging in there. And so we asked the White House why these portraits were moved and why this is happening right now in the middle of a pandemic with so much going on. They did not get back to us with a request for comment, but it's just really striking because, we've heard so far, we've heard from John Bolton in his book about just how much President Trump despised George W. Bush. He's made it pretty clear. We obviously know his feelings on Bill Clinton. And I've got to point out, where they were before, when the president would typically host state leaders like he did with the Mexican president last Wednesday, or when he would normally come down the staircase from where he is on the third floor of the residence, he would see these pictures. They were in his view. And now they've been moved to this room where very few people go, maybe just the officials who work inside the White House, inside the East Wing of the White House, and they're no longer in the president's point of view. And it's just really striking that he would take the time and the effort to move these pictures out of a very prominent viewing space in the White House and instead put up two pictures of presidents who served, so long ago.